I'm sat there and I'm watching TV and I see something out of the right hand side of my peripheral vision. And I look down towards the carpet, and at the bottom of the door, there was a ball of light, orange, white on the outside, about as big as, I want to say, like a grapefruit. And literally, it went one, two, three, and it disappeared. After about 5 minutes of walking around, I get asked by my wife at the time what I was doing, and I explained to her what it was, and she said, "Kyle, it's at the top of the door." And I looked, and it was there, and it vanished.
Hi guys, welcome back to UAP Network. It's Dave here along with Kyle. We're back this week talking about Kyle's experiences. Previously we've covered mine, we've talked about some analysis across the MOD files. This week we're deep diving into Kyle's experiences. Kyle, what are we expecting to talk about today?
Well, I know we've kind of tried to kind of do a little bit of a warm up, but mine are very different to yours. I think we're going to probably be touching on, I would say, the experiencer side of stuff, but I hate using that term because I wouldn't even categorize it. I would categorize it as more very paranormal, very strange,
Yeah,
um, but very much linked to our subject, mate.
yeah, agreed. Agreed. I can't wait to hear these. I think we've talked about a couple just in isolation, but I'm really excited to deep dive in. I think before that, and we've agreed this is now a regular slot on the channel, we're going to talk about like kind of what's happening in the news. And I think for me, Kyle, we were talking before we jumped on to record. I found a freedom of information request here in the UK that was lodged against West Yorkshire Police in February 2026, and we were just doing a bit of analysis. So I'll share my screen for me and you to look at, Kyle, and then obviously we'll pop it up for the guys at home. So just doing a bit of research as we were getting ready, there was a freedom of information request made in February, as I say, so just last month, asking West Yorkshire Police, which is kind of in the middle of the country, quite a large police force region, if they've got any data on UFO sightings between the 1st of January 2025 and the 31st of December 2025. It's really interesting. They were asking for things like UFO, UAP, UAV, USO, lights in the sky, aliens, extraterrestrial beings. So lots of search terms there that were kind of put forward. Now, within the freedom of information kind of framework, they don't have to provide things if it's too cost prohibitive to do so. And in this particular scenario, the police have sadly not shared any details because of the cost. However, what they have shared is a little paragraph, and we'll make sure this is kind of really zoomed in on the screen as we do the edit for the video. Within the requested time period, there were 27,777 incidents recorded, which included words, UFO, UAP, unidentified flying object, unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAV, lights in the sky, terrestrial, so maybe that would have been for the extraterrestrial where he'd written that, or she had written it in their request, drone or orb in the log text. But in order to really deep dive into that, it would take 925 hours for a person to do that, taking 2 minutes per file for the way that they're stored. I found that fascinating, Kyle. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I'm blown away. I keep covering my mouth. That's how much blown I'm away. 927,000. Right, so think back to our first video. Think back to our first video where the desk was shut down. I think the big one for me is the fact that people still can report to West Yorkshire,
Yeah,
because obviously they're coming in at that number.
yeah,
That year had 600, and I think it was the biggest amount of reports that had up until the point, which was 2008.
yeah.
Well, they're not going down, are they, guys? They're
No,
going up.
no,
That
absolutely.
is an insane number.
Yeah.
Dave, did you share another screen where they kind of revised the list and it dropped? Because it'd be interesting to show that revised number as well, because 27,000 is a lot. Then you take out some of the chaff,
Yes.
but it's still significantly higher. Is it around 16,000?
Yeah, so what I found was there was another Freedom of Information Act request made in March 26. Now, as of the date of recording, it's the 11th of March 2026 recording this video here today, Kyle and I. This request was made in March, so it's been made within the last 11 days, and it's much clearer, it's much more precise in terms of the way it describes the information it's looking for, and also some information to exclude, and it's also covered a larger period, so that's interesting. So this period is between the 1st of January 2020 and the 16th of February 2026, so it shows there probably is a lot of false positives if you're just doing some kind of broad brush terms. This is very clear, it's kind of comma and quotation marked each of the search terms it wants to search for, as well as the things that it wants to exclude. And within this one in particular, again, they've not been able to provide the data because this would be cost prohibitive and taking about 55 hours to do, but they have recorded 1,656 incidents, which is still quite a big number. I appreciate it's a longer period of time, but with those specific terms.
Right, so one of the first things that popped to mind, mate, with this is I put in a FOIA request, and I did it over quite a significant amount of time as well, and I actually think off the top of my head it was the same time scale.
Okay.
But I did it in October.
Okay.
So this is somebody really recent.
Yes.
Which makes me think someone may have seen something and they wanted to find out what's going on. That number is significant. Like I said, so 2008 it was 600 cases to the MOD. You now can't report anything to the MOD. It doesn't exist anymore. No. That's what I said. They've closed it down. People are still trying to record these things and get them investigated. 1,600. So again, for anybody that's watching this, my figure 600 was to the MOD for all of the UK. This is 1,600 incidents in West Yorkshire alone.
Yes. Yes.
That's a lot.
It's phenomenal. I think this is great because for you and I, Kyle, this is a great little rabbit hole that we can go down, do some research, bring it to you guys. We can share this with you, and it'd be great if you guys join in. And equally, if you're one of the people that maybe perhaps reported to West Yorkshire Police or any of the other police forces in the UK, make sure you drop us an email, drop us a comment. Our email address, will pop it up on screen so you can write in. Please do. Obviously, we're trying to grow the community. Community engagement in this space is so important. So please do. Like, it's really, really welcome. No judgment whatsoever. What you've seen, let's just talk about it. It'd be great. If you've got some footage, send it in. That's what the email address is for. Equally, if you may be a bit shy about it, drop a comment. Maybe we can reach out. You know, maybe we can have a bit of back and forth. And if it's something you don't want to talk about or you just want to kind of describe, we can do it. We can keep it completely anonymous. But do please, I encourage you to share any stories you've got, anything that maybe you've reported to the police or any other authorities. We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah. Like last week I did the jokey thing where I said, "Oh, come in the back garden, have a drink." I mean, the offer's still there, guys. Don't be too shy. I'm very busy in normal day-to-day life, but I will really I want to get stuck into this for investigation purposes as well. Like I would love to visit places and visit people that have seen things like how we got talking, Dave, and understanding what happened to you and how it differs to me, and actually what other people are seeing and how it's making them feel, including if like it's critics too. Like I'd really like to see that. So please, like Dave says, get in touch. We want to hear from you. Really bad.
Definitely. Okay, great. I've not got any other new segments. I'm going to keep following this, and we'll bring you any additional detail that we find. We might even make a fresh Freedom of Information request based on this to see if we can get a little bit better detail and data coming out of it based on some of the things that West Yorkshire Police have said. So watch this space. Kyle and I will do a bit of digging in the background, and we'll see what else we can find. I think let's come to the main topic of today then. So Kyle, we're going to talk to you about your experiences. Where are we starting? Talk us through. What's the time period? How long ago? Obviously we're in 2026 right now.
Yeah, I think the easiest thing to start with was the most significant event, but there is kind of a back step of something that I remember happening when I was a child. After a few things happened as of late. So it's 2026 now. One of the real main events actually happened to me. It was probably 2017, 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was around there where things really started to kind of really get interested for me for things that I
Yeah.
actually physically saw myself.
Okay. So talk us through. So 2017,
Okay.
2018. What happened?
So I was at that point I was married and I was living in the marital home in Sheffield, which is actually
It's
near
my
where you
hometown.
are.
Okay.
Yeah, so at the time I was living at Waverley near the Morrisons on the Parkway.
Yeah.
Um, I've been there for about, I want to say about 2, 3 years at that point, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, and at this point, it was a developing housing estate. The place where we had a house, it looked onto the back of fields and a big forest area, which was
Yeah.
always really dark. And my dog that we had at the time, I used to walk up
Yeah.
there quite a lot. Um, it was around October, November, I remember, because it was quite dark. My partner at the time, no longer together, she was a teacher, and she would spend most evenings marking books. And this is this is like it happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So I was sat. It's probably worthwhile understanding the layout of the house to understand how this happened.
Okay.
It was a normal kind of new build house, Barrett's estate. You
Yeah.
walk into a hallway, and then off to the left is the front room.
Yeah.
Fairly big. But as you walk into the front room, the door opens inwards, and
Yeah.
on the left-hand side there was a big 3-seater leather sofa.
Okay.
And I'm sat on the nearest seat to the door. So
Yeah.
as soon as you turn around, I'm sat there.
Right there.
My partner at the time was on the left-hand side, and we were both looking at the TV while she worked, which was on the farthest wall to the door.
Yeah.
The light was on, so in Yorkshire, the big light was on.
Big light. Yeah.
Yeah, the door was open. The rest of the house, the lights were off. And more importantly, because I checked this at the time, the curtains were closed. So
Okay.
there was no outside light getting in, and outside it was dark.
Yeah.
We're watching TV, and I remember watching, and something caught my eye to the right. So again, I'm sat on the right-hand side looking at the TV, my arm's on the armrest, and something is catching my eye on the floor next to the door. I turn, and the only way I can describe this, Dave, it was like a grapefruit, not even a baseball, it was bigger than a baseball. It was about
Yeah.
that big.
Okay.
And it was an orange light,
Yeah.
but it was in the house. And the outer edge of it was white. And it was like, it was there on the door. It was like next to the door.
Yeah.
And I looked, and it was like 1, 2, 3, then it disappeared.
Wow.
I didn't say a word.
Yeah.
I didn't say a word. Stood up, and I looked in the hallway. There's nothing there, and I'm rationally trying to figure out what
is
it
it?
was. So I'm going over to the windows. I'm checking the curtains. No one's pointing a laser pen in. And as I'm asking that question, no one's pointing a laser pen in. I'm like, but that would be red, and it would be really small. This was big, and it was orange.
Yeah.
And my mind's going into overdrive. And up until this point, like, I'd had an interest in this stuff.
Yeah.
But I wasn't probably as deep down the well as what I am now. I think this was the triggering moment for me. And I sit down and I'm really puzzled. Like, I'm wearing confusion on my face. And it's at this point, my partner at the time turns to me and says, "What are you doing? What's the matter?" And I'm like, "I just saw something. It was a light. It was down on the floor. I don't know." And she went, "Kyle, it's at the top of the door." And I looked, and it was at the top part of the door, and it was exactly the same.
Wow.
And I looked, and it went 1, 2, and it disappeared again. And it was really strange. We just looked at each other and went, "No." and we never spoke about it. We never spoke about it.
Wow. Just
And
never
that was the
spoke about it
first.
again. No.
No, no. We've been broken up now. Obviously, I'm with a new partner. I'm very happy now, and life's grand. We got divorced, and we haven't spoke since 2019. And this would be
Sure.
a
Okay.
really weird reason to speak to her again. But we
Of
both
course.
saw it,
Yeah.
but we never spoke about it together after that.
And you asked me some questions like this. Like, how did it
I'm
feel?
expecting them. Puzzling. I remember being really confused. I'd gone through a period where, sounds really morbid, but death had been around quite a bit.
Okay.
I'd lost my nan very close to that period in a circumstance that was really hard to accept, and my dog also died, and she died really, really badly too. So there was that in the back of my mind. But I think as time's gone on, because of other things I've experienced as well, and we don't necessarily have to get into this at the minute, I'm kind of settling into a place where the whole UFO thing and some of the more spiritual aspects, I feel like they're intertwined to a certain extent. And for me, this has come a lot later when I hear people talking on podcasts about orbs, how they describe things in the sky. It is exactly what I saw in the front room, and I can't rationalise why it was in the front room, but it was definitely there. I'm still baffled by it, really am.
Yeah. It's really interesting. It's not the only time I've heard of somebody experiencing something like this and being able to see an orb in a room, in a physical kind of house, or any other space. So it's really interesting, and I think it's really interesting to hear about it. I think just to kind of dig in a little bit further, like, was there like a change in temperature? Was there like a change in kind of smell, like the feeling in the room, like maybe like static or anything like that?
No, but it is weird because as time goes on, there's a significant ramp up, and there is then tangible changes in the atmosphere as that happens.
Okay.
And initially it was very negative, but as time's gone on, it's become more positive. And where people are probably watching this going, dude, this is a UAP thing. It does touch on that stuff for me. There are paranormal aspects to this. Really to my experiences, but I do lean towards the UAP thing because since then I've been put in positions where I've seen things, and I want to say potentially being able to interact with them in weird ways too. And that's why I feel like there's an element of it all mixed together with consciousness for me, which is very on trend for the subject at the minute.
I think whether it's on trend or not is kind of by the by. It's based on your experience.
Yeah,
and
I would say
trust you.
the on trend point for me comes from a place where it's helping me understand it.
Sure. Yeah, lots of people are talking about it. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's where I'm coming from with that.
Yeah. Is there anything else kind of significant that's worth calling out, like in relation to that particular experience?
Yeah. So two things then happen very shortly after this.
Okay.
There's a heap of other stuff which we would probably need to talk about to see whether it's relevant, which happened to me as well.
Okay.
But the key ones for me, I remember going to bed. This was not the same night. This was probably about 3 or 4 nights after. And I know what people are going to say instantly. They're going to say, "Oh, you were asleep." I know I wasn't, and I'll tell you why. I woke up and I needed a wee, and I had an ensuite, and I was again. I don't know if you do this, Dave, but I sleep on the right hand side of the bed.
I think I'm on the left. I suppose
cool.
the right, as you look at it from the bottom.
If you look at if you're on the headboard, you're looking out.
I'm on the left. Yeah, I'm on the left.
So I'm on the right, and I had to walk all the way around to get to the ensuite. So I wake up, I need a wee, walk around, have a wee, come back, walk around. I'm now awake, and at this point, I wasn't sleeping very well. Um, and I remember getting my phone, and I was reading something. I can't remember what I was reading. I think it was to do with a film. But I was reading something that I would have been Interstellar. This is how much I
Right,
remember
yeah.
it. It was Interstellar. I was reading the book that accompanied it about the research that was done into black holes.
Yeah. Great.
This is why I know I'm not
Nice.
asleep.
Yeah.
I was reading that book, and at the time I was using the Books app on iPhone.
Yeah.
So I was using that. It was before I got a Kindle. So I was reading this book, and the atmosphere changed. Do
Okay.
you remember when you was a kid and you'd go to bed and you'd feel
Yeah.
like something was watching you?
Yeah.
It was having that, but at
Yep.
32 years old.
Yeah.
I just remember becoming sweaty, feeling like something was watching me. And at this point, I put the phone down because I'm going back into like a kid state. I'm like, shut your eyes, it's not happening. Hide under the covers. And I remember trying. And I'm a big burly man. I'm in the gym all the time. So it sounds weird, but I'm going. It's like a weird version of fight or flight. But I know something's watching me. My eyes move towards the door. So again, door 6 foot tall. I think Americans use 6 foot, 2.1 meters. About, I would say, 30 centimeters down from the door, I see a head, and it tilts in, tilt back, and then it tilts in and back. And at this point, it starts to feel a bit playful, because now it's about a foot off the door, and it tilts in, and it tilts back, and then at the top, in, out, and then the atmosphere lifted, and I went straight to sleep. And I mean, I went straight to sleep.
Oh yes.
I was out. I was out of it.
Wow.
I remember feeling nervous, very uncomfortable. Partner at the time was not waking up. And then waking up in the morning and kind of pushing to remember it, and then it came back, and then I started to remember some of the features of it. It was strange.
Can you describe it?
So this is where it gets a bit weird, because at this time I'm not necessarily thinking anything otherworldly.
Anything.
I'm thinking, I'm going mad.
Yeah.
Is it a ghost?
Yeah. Yeah.
And where the house sat was at Orgreave Pit, the old Orgreave Pit.
The old mining pit, yeah.
I start investigating, has there been mine shaft breakages, people died? That's where my mind's going. I'm thinking, there's a fucking ghost in my house, man.
Yeah.
But it was oily. It was... Okay. I couldn't see any facial features, definitely not. It was definitely bald. I remember wrinkles, like skin, like as it turned, like almost like a plastic comes to mind. But I remember it being oily.
Okay.
It just looked mucky, and I'm thinking miner.
Yeah, of course.
Soot, coal,
dirt,
sweat. But it was like oily, dirty. It was. But it didn't. It just looked strange. Is the best way I can say. It just looked odd. It looked really, really odd. But it felt, well, I'm feeling nervous, but it felt playful.
Okay.
Weird. Yeah.
Okay.
Really
That's
weird.
Interesting, isn't it? And you talked about the kind of energy changing, right? Or kind of
the
atmosphere within the kind of room and the space. What what was that change? So obviously, I guess there was kind of no atmosphere. Like, how did it feel?
It was
it like oppressive?
It was like a normal night. Like I'm being watched. It was like it was coming to watch, like observing, and it whatever it was, it knew I knew it was there.
Yeah.
And it was kind of it was absolutely fine with the fact that I knew it was there and I was feeling uncomfortable. It was just strange.
Oh, it's giving
Like
me
it kind of wanted
goosebumps.
its presence to be yeah, like it wanted its
Oh,
presence to be known,
yeah.
and it wanted me to know it was there.
Wow.
Um, but it was how I went to sleep. Like the atmosphere, like it felt heavy. I won't say
Yeah.
oppressive because I don't necessarily think it was evil.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit oppressive, like it was a lot, and then it kind of lifted, and then I'm out. Oh God,
That's it straight. How
which is weird
interesting.
in itself because I don't know how I fell asleep. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And
I don't know.
any missing time?
Well, I don't know because I was asleep. I remember waking up. I remember waking up feeling tired, um, and it was
Any
a bit
random
worse again.
scars? Any random scars on your body?
Do you know what? You've you've perked something in me. So I have a mark. Is it this shoulder? So, and I never know I've got it. If I next time I see it, I'll show you. And it goes across there, and it's like a thin paper like. It looks like I've caught myself on barbed wire, and it's
Okay.
dead straight. It's just there. But there is something that I've got, and I've never known what it is. And this links back to the earlier time, and I always forget I've got it. And it's these moments where I'm like, oh shit, I've got that, and I've got something on my collarbone that moves around.
Hmm.
I had it investigated when I was a kid. They don't know what it is. It's like a lump on my collarbone. It moves around. It's like I can feel it's there. It rolls around on my collarbone.
Have you had it x-rayed?
No, never. I always forget I've got it. I always forget I've got it.
It wouldn't be the first story where something similar happened and then somebody
This
woke
is
up.
so. This is weird for me. I've known Dave. How long have we known each other now? About coming up to what? About a year?
Yeah, about a year, yeah, I
Oh yeah,
think.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
He's never heard these stories before.
No. No, I mean we've talked about him in part, haven't we? And kind of, sharing
Yeah. Not to
experiences.
this detail.
Similar,
Not to this
obviously,
detail.
I've not talked about my experiences in any detail
Mm,
until we did that
yeah.
episode. So, wow, okay, it's really interesting. Maybe that's a route to explore, and then we can have a UAP network exclusive, Kyle's alien implant, and we'll go
It'll be
from
like,
there.
it'll be a piece of a bottle or something. God knows. That
That's interesting. It is interesting,
that
and I think whilst that I wasn't joking when I asked the question because it's really interesting. I think at the point that you're experiencing something like that in your space, obviously, most of us have a house, live in a house, or share a house. Even if you're living at home with your parents or sharing a space with other people, you've got your private space. That's Kyle's private space in his home with his now ex-wife. The house is locked up, it's the middle of the night, you're in bed. Like, to have anybody or anything else in the house is really, really strange. And I think I wasn't joking asking, did you lose some time? It's really interesting. At the point there's something in.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird because it's it, I've had something weird happen this weekend that I've not even told you about. But
Okay.
again, these are like I've got a lot of these stories because I feel like something. I've often described that things have happened around me that have often been a little bit strange,
Yeah.
um, and it's been quite intense since this point. There is one more point to mention. A week after that happened,
Yeah.
it had happened. It had happened once again in the bedroom, but a week later, this
Sorry,
was
the
on a
same thing.
weekend. Same thing.
The
Yeah,
same
same thing.
entity.
Yep, yep. Whatever it was,
Yeah.
the same thing happened, and then about a couple of days later on the weekend, I was hoovering, middle of the day,
Yeah.
and I'm hoovering the front room. So again, think back to the sofa.
Yeah.
You walk in, sofa on your left. If you run all the way down the sofa, you get to the furthest point on the left. There was like a little gap between the sofa and the wall, and there was like a lamp. The
Yeah.
hoover turns around there, and the light was there again, and it disappeared as soon as I turned the sofa on, and it disappeared
Wow.
again. And it's funny because outside of some of the stuff that's happened later in life, I've never seen that light ever again. And I don't pretend to have. I've never ever seen it ever since. Ever.
Wow.
I've had some other strange crazy stuff happen, but
Yeah.
I've never seen that again.
Wow.
Just those 2 times.
How
Yeah.
interesting.
Mm.
Okay. So hopefully not any missing time. Very peculiar scar on shoulder that no
Yeah.
memory of where that's come from. And a moving thing under your
If I
skin
can get a
against your collar.
photo,
Yeah.
yeah, if I can get a photo of it, I'll share it, and then you can maybe put it into the edit.
Yeah,
Maybe
great.
try
We'll
and do
pop it into
that.
the edit and we'll share that. Okay, yeah, great, great.
I always see it when I'm in the mirror because I pose in the gym.
Like
I see
every
it quite
good
a lot.
gym goer.
Yeah.
And just so you guys won't get the sense of scale, Kyle, he's a big fella. His biceps are like calves. But he's a big friendly giant. Don't be scared. Um, good. Okay, super. Thank you, Kyle, for
Okay.
sharing. I think that's fascinating. So that was 2017. Couple of
Mm.
peculiar scenarios. What next?
So at this point, the marriage breaks down. I move back to my mum's house, and I have um, a crazy period of time um, where, and it's really weird because I moved back into my mum's to get myself set up, and I'm only going to talk about because there was a
Yeah.
lot happened to me in this house. A lot happened to me in this house over a very condensed period of time.
Okay.
I moved back in, and it's Christmas time. We broke up October, November, and then I'm straight into Christmas time. And to make matters worse, my entire family go on holiday. My brother's away
Yeah.
with his wife, my mum's away with her husband, and my dad goes
Right.
away as well. And for the first time in 15 years, it's Christmas, and I'm alone.
Yeah.
I've got no
Properly
one.
by yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thrust into this position where I'm back at my old schoolboy house. Schoolboy house, is that thing?
Yeah.
Family home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I'm stuck. I can't do anything. I'm stuck
Yeah.
there, and things start to happen in the
Okay.
house. And this is where we're getting into the paranormal space. I'd walk into rooms, I'd see black shadows, and they'd disappear under beds. I'd see things in the middle of the night. I would hear footsteps. There were one particular occasion. There's two standout moments for me. The first one was I was washing the pots, and I hear a bang upstairs, and I always get goosebumps when I talk about this, and I'm going like
Yep.
now. I remember the feeling coming back of the room, feeling like, okay, this doesn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And I remember at this point I was feeling really nervous, really
Yeah.
nervous. I'm washing the pots side on, so my hip is next to the sink. I'm
Yeah.
taking the dishes out and washing them while I'm watching the door, like almost waiting to get out of the room.
Yeah.
So the bang hits, and it's just footsteps. Thump, thump, thump. Gets to the top of the stairs. Thump, 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 thump. Bottom of the stairs. I can see the stairs. There's no one there. Walks into the kitchen.
Yeah.
Stood in front of me. Nothing there.
Wow.
Drop it, and I leave.
Yeah.
I
I'm not
just leave.
surprised. Yeah. I think I would have
And I
too.
leave for a couple of hours, yeah, before coming back. And then the second thing that happened, which was again really close to this, I'd not got many belongings with me, but I managed to take the PlayStation 4. I used to be a massive gamer.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't have time for that anymore. But I got God of War. I was
Yeah.
playing God of War, the original one.
Yeah.
Not the original, like, not our
Yeah.
age group original, like
Yes.
the new one. I was playing that, and I was laid on the bed, and there was a knock at the door. So I get up, and I walk down, and I open the front door, and there's no one there. Shut it, go back upstairs. I'm just thinking somebody's taking a piss.
Yeah. Knock the
Sit
door,
down,
run.
knock the door again, back downstairs, open the door, no, shut the door. Go back upstairs, lay on the bed, knock, knock, on the bedroom door.
Oh.
I just get my stuff and I leave again.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. That's just giving me chills all over my body.
Yeah, I get it all the time. Every time I talk about this, I get the same way. But that's the two standouts. But the next one I think you want to know about, which is back to our topic, because it's chaos at the minute. Like at this moment in time, it's chaos.
Yeah, of course.
I get. This is more. I don't know whether this is a dream or something else, but it always stands out in my mind. I get my new house. Things start to settle down.
Yeah.
And there's one particular night, and I've never been like, when people say they have night terrors, they generally have them in their entire life.
Yes.
Like there is something I probably need to reference back to once I catch up to the current time, and
Yeah.
reference something that I've recently remembered.
Yeah.
I don't remember having many night terrors. I remember funny dreams and stuff like that, but there's dreams that stand out for me. When when you try to, if I said to you, Dave, remember a dream that you had last week,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, it'd be like vapor. You can't grab it.
Yeah.
There are dreams where I can tell you,
Yeah. Really vivid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was going on.
Yeah.
And this one, I was dreaming that I was in the room, in my bed. It was in my bed, and there was something trying to get in to my door. You'd walk up the stairs to this house, and there was a door, and you'd have to open it to come into the master suite.
Yeah.
But it couldn't get in. But it was bang against the door. And in my dream, I've stood up on the bed and I'm holding the door shut, but it pushes me back, and as it pushes me back, I'm pulled up and out of the bed.
Right. Okay.
And as that happens, I wake up and I'm falling out of bed onto the floor.
Wow.
Stood up. I was stood up.
Wow.
Yeah. I wasn't laid down. I was always like half stood up in my sleep, and I was falling forwards out of the bed. And as I woke up, got no idea.
That's quite strange, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's strange. I can't say that something happened, but it is burnt into my memory.
It's an unusual thing. Yeah,
that's weird. That's really weird.
You lucky you didn't break your arm.
Well, it was funny because how it happened, I was kind of like, it was like I got up onto my knees in my sleep, my arm was outstretched, and I'm waking up, and like my hand's going down to stop me falling. It's like I subconsciously knew what was happening.
Yeah.
Interestingly though, the door was open.
That's interesting.
The door was open. Just like I said, I don't know what it's just weird.
That's strange.
It's just really weird.
And the door was open and it wasn't. Wow. Okay.
Odd. People are watching this going, "Where's the UFOs?"
That's okay. That's okay. I think
they're coming.
There's a synergy, isn't there? I think, and that's the truth. And I think within this, whilst we are primarily focused on UAPs, UFOs, we are the UAP network. I think there is connection and synergy between all these things. You touched on it at the start, Kyle. So, but equally, it's really important to share your stories and what brought you here today, recording videos about UAPs and the wider phenomenon.
This is what dragged me really into it. And I actually do believe that these things are really intertwined. And as I've dug into this, and as I've learned more, and as I've got exposed to more people within the topic, and I've said before in some of the other videos, I've been really fortunate to meet some of what you would call the UFO famous people.
Sure.
This is where consensus seems to be dropping too. So I do feel like it is all really interlinked, and I think it comes back to consciousness in some way. I don't know how. I'm not the smartest person to be talking about that, but I do think that, and I do think some of these experiences are intertwined.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting to kind of think of those synergies that exist. So
yeah.
Okay, so we're coming closer to the modern day, right?
Yeah, so that was COVID time, because I moved into that house during COVID. So that would have been about, what, 21, 22?
2020 to 2022, wasn't it? I think the COVID pandemic,
Yeah. And then in 2022, I moved here to Leeds. Again, other stories about this house. I live in a very old Victorian previous boarding school home. It was built in 1800s.
Wow.
It's got its own, I'm going to say it's got its own character. Anybody who wants to know, please feel free, drop a message. I'll tell you all about that. But bringing it back to this topic, it went quite quiet. And then my girlfriend moved in, and we were walking to the car. We were going out, and I nearly bumped into this guy. Like, you come out of my house, and basically you have to kind of do a right hand, and a right hand,
Yeah.
and you get to the car park where my car's parked. And we're walking around to get to the car to go out. And I think, again, October, November time, so it's pitch black.
Yeah.
And I nearly bump into this guy, and he's got his head up, and he's just staring into space with his mouth open. And I kind of follow his gaze. There's a green ball of light at the top of
Right.
one
Wow.
of the old mills. And me and Haley just look up. And as we're walking, and I'm saying to him, like, what's that? And she's like, I don't know. And it's like, it's static, number one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not moving. Right, that's weird. Is it a drone? Well, it's only got a green light and nothing else, so not a drone.
Yeah.
Is it high up in the sky? So by this point, we're in the car, and it's disappeared around a building. So it's like, no, it's not high up in the sky. It's literally over and above
Yeah.
those houses.
And you would have heard it if that was the type of height as well, if it was a drone. Yeah, because they are noisy. Yeah.
And there was no buzzing. And it was weird because obviously other people had stopped and looked as well. So it was really, really strange.
Yeah.
We get a car, that's it. Really short one.
Yeah. Gone. Yeah.
And it was a pitch black night sky, and it was like a real bright green colour.
Yeah.
LED style green colour. Wasn't very big. And it was just chilling next to the building, doing nothing. Yeah, not doing a thing. Yeah. And we did look, and as we're trying to see if it was moving, and it was clearly low enough, because as you went through the building, because there's a lot of tall buildings, and you drove through, it was disappearing behind buildings, so it wasn't like it was high on the horizon. Yeah.
Wow.
Nothing as exciting as yours, just mine's just a green light.
Well, I think they are what they are, aren't they? I think, some of mine didn't feel particularly exciting at the time. I just had, fortune or misfortune, right? I think, depending which stance you take. So, yeah, I find them all fascinating, though. So, and I guess, take it no noise. Obviously, you didn't observe it for very long, but just think of there's seven observables, right? But there was no noise, static, but wasn't a helicopter, wasn't anything else that you'd see hovering, wasn't usual to see that colour light in that sort of area, in close proximity. Interesting.
Never seen it since.
Unidentified.
And this is the thing as well. Like, I always say, there's evidence in the lack of evidence. Yes. If it was something regular, why have I not seen it again? Like, I've not seen that ever since. I've seen it once. And I think some people have sometimes flippantly removed that, where if there's a lack of evidence, if it happens once and it disappears, yes, that is an anomaly, right? That is different. And I look at it like that, like, okay, there's something different. People often rationalise that stuff, where I'm a bit like, I don't get fixated on it.
Yeah.
But I do look at it and go, well, there's something weird there.
Yeah. It's the curiosity that we always talk about here at UAP Network. Yeah. We are curious.
100%.
Okay.
So probably need to move on. So that was, I want to say 2022-ish. Goes quiet, and then I want to 2025. It might have been 2023. Went to Iceland.
Okay.
So around this time, I start hearing about CE5.
Yep.
So anybody that doesn't know CE5, you've got a gentleman called Dr. Stephen Greer, who is very famous in this topic, did things like the Disclosure Project, but he's famous for CE5, which is when you can initiate contact with things up in the sky by getting yourself into a meditative state. I'd heard it, and shout out to, there's a channel called Project Unity. I'd watched quite a lot of his videos, and he's from Nottingham.
Yeah.
And he'd had some similar experiences. I'm like, that's really cool, because I think through this stuff I have become inquisitive, and I do try to egg stuff on. So I'm like, well, I'm going to try and get it to talk to me. Of course. So a week before I went to Iceland, I was trying to get myself into a state where I was initiating this stuff. And one of the things to talk about is when you get in that state, you try to push out the intention of where you're going to be to invite them.
Yep.
And I was doing that because I knew I was going to be. And we were going to be staying under the stars in a transparent igloo tent
to
watch the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
with no light pollution in the middle of nowhere in Iceland. What better thing to do
Yeah.
than invite them in? And I did. And I
Wow.
didn't tell Helen.
Bet she was
I
happy.
just did it. Well, it got
Uh,
weird. It got really
yeah.
weird. So this is why where I was like, now I'm almost kicking into another gear with this subject. And we gets there, and we'd got a pizza in this little igloo thing we were eating away. And darkness comes on quick there, really quick, and it was September. And we're watching up at the sky, and I started to notice really strange moving lights.
Really.
So you'd get them at first traveling really quick, and they'd kind of come from different directions. So you get them from like right to left, left to right, and then cross the path.
Okay.
And then you'd get them kind of coming in parallel
Yeah.
across each other. And then they start doing weird things, like they'd come in, slow down, and then speed up.
Yeah.
Then they start blinking. Then they're traveling across, going brighter, dimmer, brighter, dimmer, brighter, dimmer.
Yeah.
And it's going on for ages.
Yeah.
And then at this point, I start to ask questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so are you friendly and stuff? And then this is when the first one comes and it goes, poof.
Okay.
And then you'd be like, I can't remember some of the other questions asked, but then you'd get like a response from another part of the sky. I remember saying something like, oh, are you just visiting? Poof.
Yeah.
And this went on. Partner's getting nervous now.
Wow.
It seems like it's responding.
Yeah.
And as this is happening, we're looking up and it's got really dark. So 7 observables, one of the things they talk about is, I forgot the term now, but it's about where you struggle to see it. Best way to phrase it. I'm looking straight ahead and up, and Helen says, what's that on the right? And I turn, and the weirdest thing, when you looked at it, you couldn't see it.
Okay.
But if you looked just at the side of it, you'd see like a misty triangle.
Yeah.
But then you'd look at it again, it'd not be there. It was really weird. And it just silently floated.
Right.
Really quietly, really slowly, came across. And it went on. And I've got a photo.
Yeah.
But if you looked at the photo, you'd be like, there's nothing there. But I can point out where it is. And it's almost like a swirl.
Okay.
On the actual picture. It's like it's a blemish. But I'm like, that's where it was.
Okay. Wow.
And then as that disappears out of view, we get scared.
Yeah.
And I say, all right, enough then. And I said something ridiculous. I went, blinky bye-bye, see you later. And I went, bye-bye. And it went, ch-ch.
Wow.
As if it was, yeah, see you later. It's like, holy shit.
Wow.
And then really randomly, again, that happened. She fell asleep.
Really?
And the Northern Lights started.
Wow.
And it wasn't shortly after I was out of it. Gone.
Yeah.
Couldn't wake up. Absolutely out of it. I felt drained.
Yeah, I bet.
So yeah, that was the next, the one that really sticks out in memory.
And you did wake her up from the Northern Lights, hopefully.
Of course I did.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah. Took lots of photos as well.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Wow. That's fascinating.
Okay. Yeah. I never thought about C5. I was like, it sounds a bit crazy. And this again comes back to that consciousness piece.
Yep.
Because for me, that's you're using your own consciousness to push out intention to say hello, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And I didn't think I was kind of curious to try it because I'd seen a lot of these people. I'm like, yeah, God,
sure.
And then lo and behold, like I'm sat there, and you're still trying to rationalise it. It must have been a
of course.
I'm like, no, it's too strange. Like speeding up, slowing down, and weirdly, like people would go, "Why did you not do it again?" I was like, "No, I didn't feel like I needed to." But then I did do it again later.
Yeah,
much later.
Was there anything else about it like you could describe? Was there like any kind of feeling to it, or
it was
like a connection?
definitely felt like a connection, definitely,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
it felt like there was an interaction going on. Like
Yeah.
I've never had that happen where you're asking something that looks as though you're actually getting a physical response back.
Oh,
So that was really, really, really cool. And I remember being awestruck. Someone
yeah.
else was scared. I was like,
It's fair.
wow, this is
Yeah.
insane. And I've ever since then I've got a real not over the top fascination with it because it's pushed me into different areas when I try to meditate to try and initiate
Yep.
contact. Um, and I love that side of it. Yeah,
It is fascinating. It is fascinating. Okay. Wow. Thank you for sharing. I look forward to seeing that photograph.
I'll send it you.
Okay. Good.
Um, from here, I then got a soul.
Yep.
Um, Met
And
some really cool
we
people.
we knew each other at this point. I remember you talking about going to
Yeah,
Seoul, and it was quite a way away
yeah.
actually when we'd first kind of met. Remember you go in and kind of hearing about it. We were messaging, weren't
I
we, whilst
remember
we were
sending you
there?
some photos.
Yeah,
Yeah, while I
yeah,
was
we
there
did.
about the people
Yeah,
I'm meeting. So I go to Seoul,
yep,
and this is then so back to kind of I would say stranger experiences. Not
yep,
necessarily at Sol either. I met some really cool people I've stayed in
sure.
touch with. I'm hoping that I get another invite. Let's see. Um, Fingers crossed. If I
You
do,
can
that'd be
represent UAP
really cool
Network.
to cover in here. Oh wow, I didn't even think of that.
Yes,
So yeah, that's an experience I've really really enjoyed. Um, Came away with different thoughts, like
yep,
what the crowd was like, and I can talk about that another time.
sure.
Um, they were doing lots of different things. There was a lot of experience and stuff there, which was really interesting to hear,
Yep,
and some of the stances they're taking on it. And then they get all into the meditation stuff, and there was some kind of push around people trying this meditation thing, stuff like
yep,
that. And I remember getting on the plane to come home, and I thought, oh, I haven't done it since Iceland. Let's try again.
yep,
And I just had my headset on, and I was just chilling. And the only way I can describe it to you is if you're in a place where you feel really content.
yep,
And one of the words I've used before is like if you just feel like, and you kind of know what I'm like. I'm a bit like this anyway. With a lot of love,
yep,
and you take that and you push that out,
yep.
metaphorically, but kind of
Yeah.
almost like vision. You might want to cut this.
Manifesting it.
Push it
Yeah,
out, yeah, like push it out, and then use that to kind of go around if you want to say hello. And I remember kind of going through the similar motions, keeping myself in a quite steady state, and pushing that intention outwards,
yep,
and explaining I'm going home, I want to be home. It's been a really cool experience. It'd be great to kind of say hello. Get back, nothing happens, and then it's the second night.
yep.
I go to sleep, and I don't know who's got any puppies at home, but we've got a little bundle of joy called Brian, and Brian does a lot to get into our bed, and sometimes it's hard to resist him. And at
Yeah.
this period of time, Brian was using me as a pillow.
Okay.
I wake up. I definitely wake up again. I'm
Yep.
kind of looking at my phone to see what time it is. But more importantly, I know I'm awake because Brian's moving. He's
Yeah.
wriggling next to me. And this is where, I mean, if anything you've heard tonight, you're like, wow, this is a bit woo. And I'm still kind of coming to terms with this a little bit. You mentioned about a feeling, okay?
Yep.
So this is when I start to refer back to other things. I want to use a word sensation.
Yep.
I get hit by this sensation, and I remember I felt this sensation before.
Okay.
And the way in which I can describe it is like pins and needles from the back of your neck, but all over my head.
Okay.
And I could feel it moving.
Okay.
And it went to the right-hand side, and I could feel it buzzing. And at this point, I start to hear a hum in my ears.
Yep.
Now, this is going to sound absolutely insane. But at this point, I hear, not with my ears,
Yep.
but I hear
Yep.
somewhere, hello, I'm saying hello. And I say, what to? Because I'd forgot.
Yeah.
And it said, you asked to say hello, so we're coming to say hello.
Wow.
And it feels strange,
Yeah.
really strange, because now I'm like, I'm awake. I don't know what's going on, but it felt like a very physical
Yeah.
reaction. Um, and I shut my eyes, and I don't know how to describe it. In my mind's eye, I don't feel like I was in control. This sounds when you shut your eyes and you kind of imagine something, you're piecing together the picture in your own mind about what that is.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that. I was
Yeah.
shutting my eyes and I was seeing something that was already there, and it
Okay.
was like a tapestry, and
Okay.
it was like triangles, and there was lots of them, and it said, "Do you see it?" And I don't know what it is you wanted me to see. And then it kind of pushed in, and the thing that I've described to people is it was like it showed its face,
Okay.
and I saw it, and it was the same skin tone as before, but really pink, oily pink, really weird, and it had the same plasticky look
Yeah.
to the neck. It was really weird, and the eyes weren't as big as you hear. Like they were big, but they were abnormally big, and they were black, but they didn't stick out like you would see
Okay.
on the kind of the stuff you generally see.
A grey alien,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, but
Well, that's
it definitely wasn't
depicted.
grey. It was definitely pink, 100% pink. The eyes were dark. They were big. They weren't like people talk about being slanted. They were like,
Yeah.
but what was strange enough is it was showing me two different views at the same time. One of them was side on, as it was kind of half looking like this, trying to
Yeah.
show me the side profile, and the other one was straight on. And it said something along the lines, "We're not wanting to hurt you. Don't worry." This sounds absolutely mad. It's one of the first times I spoke out loud, and you're filming it. Um,
Listen, we appreciate your vulnerability. There's no judgment.
this is where it gets weird, though, and this is where you kind of go. Where I'm going, this is a dream. To okay, what the hell's happening?
Is it a dream? Yeah.
I As this is happening, it says, "Would you like us to say hello in person?" And at this point, I get the same feeling that I had before. Something's actually in the fucking house.
Right.
The atmosphere changed. I haven't moved. Brian stands up,
Yeah.
walks onto my chest, sits, and growls at the door
Wow.
in that very moment.
Okay.
So I'm saying, no, I'm not comfortable with that, but I'm really comfortable with this.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for that, but I'm comfortable with this. If you're okay with this, I'm happy to keep talking like this. And it said, yeah, not a problem, not a problem. And the atmosphere lifted, and Brian got off, laid down, went to sleep
Wow.
straight away. This is all happening for me in like the space of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I remember dropping off to sleep and then feeling pressure
Okay.
on my abdomen, like a hand pressing on me. And at this point, I wake up and I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I went to the bathroom, and I don't know if we need to put this in. You might want to cut this bit, just
Okay.
FYI. I went to the bathroom, and there was a lot of blood.
Okay. Wow.
A lot of blood. It's
Yeah.
never happened since. Never happened before. But there was a lot of blood everywhere. Um, Noticeably, that I actually went a bit grey. I felt a bit queer. I thought this isn't good.
Yeah.
Um, and then I go back to sleep. Now that all happened for me over like the space of about 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if you've got a Garmin.
I haven't, but yeah, I know what one is. Yeah, sure.
Garmin's give you a sleep report.
Yeah,
It tells you when you're awake and when you're asleep.
of course.
I was awake for an hour. I can't remember being awake for an hour.
No recollection of it. Mm.
No,
Wow.
no, no.
And
Yeah,
you think you went straight back to sleep?
yeah. To me, I did. To me, I went to sleep.
That's really interesting.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And then
Can you, have you tried to kind of, deep think into your mind? Like, is there any snippets?
I do it most nights. I do
Yeah,
it most nights because now I've got into this habit. As if I can get relaxed enough, and you know how busy I am with work,
yeah, sure.
I make an active point most nights to try and put myself into that state. And here's the interesting thing: I know what that sensation feels like.
Yeah,
I know what the mindset feels like. I know how it feels when it's coming on.
yeah.
And apart from one other occasion, I can't replicate it. I can't make myself go through the same thing.
Okay,
And I try. I really try because I'm almost kind of going, if
interesting.
I can do it, then I'm kind of subconsciously doing it myself.
Yeah,
But I can't. I can't, mate. I can't get
okay.
myself into the space where my mind feels like it's in the same place. I really can't. It's like I'm
Wow.
not in. It's like it happens when I'm not expecting it to happen.
Yeah,
It sounds really ethereal, but it's the only way I can physically describe it. It's odd. It's just odd.
okay.
It's at this point I remember this
Yeah,
and my childhood. Um, this is really random, but I then remember because I'm going through all this. I'm like, this is weird. This is really strange. I'm not scared.
yeah,
I'm scared, kind of. I'm scared when I feel like the intentions are changing a little bit, like I did then. But like, I'm not. This subject doesn't scare me.
yes,
Like I'm really interested in it because something's happening, whether it be in my own mind or
yeah,
external to my mind.
sure.
But then I kind of like, have something like this happened before? And then I remember back that I went through a stage when I was younger. This is going to be funny because of a side topic. I used to have nightmares about Star Trek: The Next Generation and Captain Picard.
Okay,
Seriously, I used to have
yeah.
lots of nightmares, and I'd have night terrors. My phone's just lit up, started talking. That's weird. I'd have night terrors that people in the spaceship were coming to take me away, and I'd
Wow.
scream the house down.
Okay.
And I remember having this dream that there was an old shopping centre in Rotherham, and it was like a circular building. It had like 3 floors,
Okay.
and I remember it didn't feel like it didn't feel like a dream to me, but that's how I kind of reconcile it. That I'm in this dream, and my mum's took me and my brother shopping. We're on the bottom floor, then we're on the second floor, then we get to the third floor, and articles of furniture are disappearing. Like they're not there where you expect them to be because we used to go in it quite a lot.
Yeah,
But then we're on a fourth floor,
yeah.
and this building doesn't have a fourth floor. Then I'm on a fifth floor, and then it's not my mum,
Right.
but I
Okay.
don't know who it is. So do you see?
Yeah,
Right. So you see on your camera, you see that purple and blue light you've got in your background.
yeah.
Then there's a light like that, and it's all down the left hand side. And I remember seeing like white sheets, and there's like a really weird path, and I see 2 silhouettes,
Okay.
and then I wake up, and I wake up, and that was I think I must have been about 5 or 6, and I can't remember anything else. That's all I
Wow.
remember. I don't remember anything else other than that, and I forgot about it for years, and it came back to me when this
Yeah.
stuff was happening.
Oh, interesting. I wonder if it's all connected because they do, obviously the stuff that we've seen. There's a lot of people that have experienced stuff like this, and encounters in the same way that you're describing, Kyle. And they manifest in different ways for different people, and sometimes all
Yeah.
versions of everything that we've both experienced as well. And I think what's really interesting is there's always a repeat in nature to that sort of
Mm.
contact, and I think maybe that's what you're experiencing over and over again. Wow.
Maybe. I mean, I don't think I'm anything special, and I'm a bit kind of. I mean, I don't live the most of exciting lives. Do you know what I mean? Like, you
Sure.
know this. Like, I work like a dog. I do a lot of stuff in work socially, and then other than that, I'm in here working or I'm traveling. So it's one of those where I don't know what to make. And I will. Anybody that's watching this, I can definitely say that I've seen certain things, tangible things that other people have seen as well. And I do take a heavy amount of skepticism in my own stories when I say these things. I know these things happened, but I don't necessarily know what they are and how they're connected. What I will say is, deep down, I think they are. There is something, there's a thread between all of this, and I just don't know what it is. And that's where my curiosity comes from.
Yeah.
Because that's the bit I want to know. I want to know what is joining all of this up.
Yeah.
And then there's moving forward, and like this stuff doesn't stop. Like, I still have stuff like this happening now.
Okay.
I had something happen at the weekend which was really, really strange.
Okay.
In front of my mum.
Yeah.
Like, it happened to me and my mum in her house on Saturday. I can tell you that after this if you want. In fact, I'll tell you, it makes sense, and we can decide whether we want it in or not.
Okay.
Catching up with my mum. She was asking how work was going, and I was going through all the different things that me and you have been talking about over the last few weeks outside of this stuff.
Yep.
And I was talking about, she was like, how did you get to this point? And I was talking about how I was looking at the market and realising what people were doing and kind of making a decision about how I stood out. And at that point, there was, the middle of the day, there was not a bang, there was a gong. It was like gong, and it was next to the front door in thin air. There wasn't anything that got hit, and it was weird, really, really weird. And I got up and I tried to make the sound again, and I couldn't make it again. It gets weirder. I sit down, and one of the things that bugs me is things tend to happen to me at night.
Yeah.
And at night, it comes with its own weight. Something's
Sure.
happening at night, there's a bit of fear there.
Yeah.
And I always say, don't turn up at night.
Yeah.
Because I ain't going to be very receptive. But maybe turn up in the day.
Yeah.
Come in and I'll make you a drink. And as I said that, in my ear, I heard, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
I flinched. I moved out of the way because it was right next to my ear. You're going to be walking away from this going, you are fucking
Wow.
mental.
Wow. Not at all.
That was Saturday. That
Wow.
was Saturday. And then the main other thing was, so we had this happen, and we went to the Caribbean in when did we go? Just after Christmas.
Yep.
And we're off the port of St. Vincent. We're in the port of St. Vincent. And I love stargazing.
Yep.
You're probably wondering why. But I love stargazing. I'm out on the back of the boat. It's pitch black. You can just see stars for miles. And I said to my partner, I was like, it's these nights where I just wish something would turn up and say hello. Flash. Saw hello, and I'm like, oh, holy shit. And she saw it as well. So we're watching, and I'm like, alright, how about you go left to right? So I asked it to go left to right. He goes left to right. And then I say, how about you go right to left? He goes right to left. And these things are orange. So orange orbs. What makes it weirder, Helen starts to interact, and then we see a couple more flashes. And then I say, oh, well, that's all well and good. Cross over.
Right.
Two of you cross over. Crosses over. And then the last bit that happened was I said, all right, now cross over and come a bit closer. And this is where I was like, whoa, because it crossed over, and then this one turned and it just started coming towards us, and it disappeared.
Wow. Wow.
And then it kind of settled down, and I was a bit like, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, keep
Say
playing.
hello.
Yeah. Wow.
And to be honest, that is, I mean, there was another interaction when I went back to sleep. It kind of came back, and I had another weird interaction with it. But it was kind of more of the same, really. But ever since, I mean, what we're in March now, so it's been 2 months, and I haven't had. There's always generally weird shit that goes on, but I haven't had anything I would say significant to this topic since. But I feel like it kind of comes around in waves.
Yeah.
That's where to put it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's me.
Kyle.
That's mine. That's why I'm here.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing and sharing with the guys at home. And thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this. Drop us a comment. Let us know. Have you experienced anything similar to what Kyle's described? We'd love to hear about it. Have you got footage, or have you, directly experienced some stuff and you want to share your story? Make sure you drop us an email. We'll drop the contact details up below. We'll also drop it in the description for the video. contact@uapnetwork@gmail.com. Please do drop an email over. We'd really appreciate it. Kyle, thank you so much for sharing. I know that's really vulnerable and it's really personal to you. And, despite how you feel about sharing that, absolutely fascinated to learn more about kind of what's brought us, to this point where, we're kind of taking time out of our, busy weeks to come and talk about this and kind of share it with you guys out there. So, massive thanks from me. It's been great to hear that. And wow, it's fascinating.
Thanks for listening as well, guys. It's weird sharing it. I've shared this a few times, but never put it on film. I'll send the photos through if I can remember. I'll try and take a few. But thanks for listening, and just to echo what Dave said, anybody got kind of correlated things, it'd be great to hear from you. And I can't keep coming back to it. Anything that's happening around you guys, I'd love to hear, because I'm all in with this, and I want to know more. And if anything else happens to me, and if anybody shows interest with some of the stuff I said, I'll share it. But I just, who knows when or if anything else will happen. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, amazing. It's not something you're going to want to wish for, but that contact, it's obviously brought to this point. Maybe some of it. I'm going to do some deep CE5 research and see if I can get myself into a meditative state, and I'll tune back in and share the outcomes. So I think that's it for this week. So we'll be back next week with another episode from UAP Network. It's been great to see you. Thanks to each and every one of you for watching. Do make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future uploads. It really helps out the channel. Thanks for watching UAP Network. We'll see you next week.